Archangel Michael says, "This message was blocked 3 times, but God just said, let them see it now, what you're about to open was meant only for you." These words are not ordinary. They are not just echoes in the wind or sentences in a story. They carry something deeply divine. They carry a whisper from heaven, a sacred unfolding that has patiently waited until now, until your heart was ready to receive what was meant to reach only you. This isn't for everyone. It's a gift from the heart of God to your soul, wrapped in light, soaked in love, and handed through grace. You didn't stumble here by chance. The heavens waited, the angels watched, and the Spirit moved, until today, this moment, when you could finally see it. Type 1111 if you believe God is revealing something just for you. The road has not been easy. You've been misunderstood, pushed aside, and at times, it felt like the whole world turned silent when you needed voices the most. There were moments you cried behind closed doors, whispers you never dared to speak out loud, and battles no one knew you were fighting. But God knew. Not a single tear escaped his sight, not a single sigh went unheard. He stood with you, even when you thought you stood alone. This message, this sacred unfolding, is his reminder that he never left, never turned away, never gave up on you. God has been watching, not from a distance, but from within the very spaces you thought were empty. In those quiet nights when the world fell asleep and your heart stayed wide awake, he was there. He didn't speak loudly, but his silence held peace. He didn't move the storm, but he sat in it with you. He didn't rush your healing, but he held every broken piece gently in his hands. That delay, that silence, that pause, it wasn't rejection. It was preparation. What was blocked before had to be, because your spirit was still unfolding, still being made ready for what was coming. Every person has a season, and every soul has its moment. Yours is now. This message has arrived not only to tell you that you are seen but to awaken something inside you that has been quietly waiting, gently stirring. God is calling your heart forward. Not to pressure, not to rush, but to guide. He is calling you deeper, not into noise, but into peace. Not into worry, but into trust. His voice doesn't shout, it leads like the soft wind that touches your skin when you least expect it. It doesn't demand, it invites. And this moment is his invitation to you. You have carried so much, more than most will ever know. You've worn a brave face when your soul felt tired, smiled when your heart was aching, and kept walking when everything in you longed to stop. But God saw that too. Every silent prayer, every moment you said, "I'll try again," every time you chose kindness when pain would have been easier, he counted it all. And none of it was in vain. In his hands, nothing is wasted, not even the tears. He bottles them, holds them close, and waters your future with them. Every drop of sorrow becomes a seed of glory in his plan. Type 222 if you trust in God's perfect timing. There are things that only God can explain. The reasons behind closed doors. The purpose behind delay. The silence that stretches across days and nights. But here is one truth you can rest in. When something is truly meant for you by God, it cannot be stolen, buried, or permanently blocked. It might be delayed, it might take a long road, but it will always find its way back to you. And when it does, it comes wrapped in double grace, with peace that covers every moment you waited. That's what this message is. That's why it had to be delayed 3 times. Because now is the moment heaven marked for it to arrive at your feet. Every second you wait, wealth meant for you slips into someone else's hands. A hidden brain wave, once buried in CIA files, has been proven to awaken unstoppable prosperity. In just 7 minutes, you can unlock the switch inside your mind that draws abundance like a magnet. This is more than an opportunity, it is destiny knocking. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate your hidden wealth wave right now. Heaven hasn't forgotten your name. God knows the weight of your thoughts and the rhythm of your prayers. He's not looking for perfection. He's after your heart. He sees through every wall you built to protect yourself, and he steps gently beyond them. He knows how tired you are, how much you've tried, and how much you long for something to finally feel like it's turning around. That's why he sent this message. It's not to remind you of pain, but to bring healing. It's not to stir fear, but to anchor your faith. It's not just words. It's a shift. A soft but powerful shift that begins when you dare to believe it's for you. Your story isn't too messy for God. Your past isn't too broken, your mistakes aren't too big, and your doubts aren't too loud. He doesn't love you less because you've struggled. He loves you fiercely because you've endured. You've held on when others let go. You've believed when it felt like hope was fading. That doesn't go unnoticed in heaven. It moves God's heart. It opens doors that once seemed permanently shut. And this message, this holy whisper into your life, is one of those doors creaking open. Sometimes healing comes not in the form of instant change but in the slow, steady assurance that you are not walking alone. Sometimes the miracle isn't the mountain moving but the strength to climb it one more time. And often, what looks like a delay is actually God working behind the scenes, moving hearts, arranging moments, and shaping you into who you were meant to be. This message has been delayed, yes, but not denied. And now that it's here, it carries everything you didn't even know you needed. More is coming. Not just more noise or busyness, but more peace, more clarity, more understanding, more love. God is bringing things together in ways that make sense only in the light of His goodness. The parts that didn't add up, the paths that seemed to end in confusion, are slowly being rewritten. You are not forgotten, and you are not being overlooked. What's meant for you has been held back not because you were denied, but because God loves you too much to give you something before your heart is truly ready to carry it. All the waiting, all the times you felt stuck in silence, wondering if what you hoped for would ever arrive, none of that was in vain. You were not forgotten. You were not passed over. The message may have been blocked before, but heaven was never silent. God was never far. What you are about to walk into is not an accident or coincidence. It is the unfolding of something that could never be taken away, only delayed until you were ready to receive it. Type 222 if your heart is open to what God is preparing just for you. There's something sacred about a delay. It may feel painful, frustrating, or even defeating while you are in the middle of it, but to God, it is never wasted. A delay is not a denial, it is divine alignment. He waits for your strength to rise, for your roots to grow deep, and for your soul to fully embrace what He's about to give. Because when God blesses, He blesses completely. He doesn't offer temporary fixes. He brings restoration that goes deeper than surface needs. He answers with a fullness that reaches the most hidden corners of your life. When the right time comes, it is never empty. It is always more than you imagined. There were moments when you almost gave up. Maybe no one knows the full story of what you carried. Maybe the smile on your face hid more sorrow than words could say. But you made it. You're still here. And that is proof of God's hand on your life. Because if the enemy had his way, you would have drowned in fear or heartbreak a long time ago. But instead, your spirit kept moving. Your heart kept hoping. Something inside you refused to let go of faith, even when your world felt like it was falling apart. That quiet strength, that's where God lives. He breathes in those small, unseen victories. He sees your fight. Even in your lowest moments, when your voice trembled and your prayers felt hollow, God was close. He doesn't love you only when you're strong. He loves you when you're broken too. He doesn't wait for you to have it all together. He walks with you through the mess, through the questions, through the pain. And even when your faith felt fragile, even when you didn't know if you could keep believing, He stayed. The kind of love God gives is not shaken by your fear. It doesn't leave when you're weak. It surrounds you like a warm light, constant and unshakable, even when you feel like you're falling apart. Type 555 if you trust God's love is still holding you together. This is the part where things begin to change. Not all at once, maybe not in ways you expect, but gently, faithfully, and surely. God is rewriting your story, not erasing the past, but redeeming it. The pain you walked through will not be the final chapter. The unanswered prayers were not ignored. They are being answered in a way that protects your peace and honors your growth. Sometimes, when God doesn't give us what we ask for right away, it's because He wants to give us something better, deeper, more lasting. His delays are filled with mercy. His timing is soaked in love. You are not who you were before the struggle. You have grown. Your heart has been stretched wide, your faith has been refined, and your hope, though tested, has not died. God has been shaping you through it all. The breaking wasn't to destroy you, it was to rebuild you stronger. The silence wasn't a punishment, it was a space for God to speak in ways the world could not interrupt. You may have felt forgotten, but heaven has been working on your behalf in quiet, holy ways that only eternity can fully explain. Now, as this message finds you, God wants you to stop running from what hurt you. He wants you to stop seeing yourself through the lens of failure or loss. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are exactly where He needs you to be for what's coming next. And what's coming next isn't chaos, it's calm. It isn't confusion, it's clarity. It isn't fear, it's faith restored, strengthened, and alive. This moment is a turning point. The kind you won't fully recognize until you look back and realize it was here, in the middle of the quiet, that your soul started to rise again. Your heart may still ache in places that others don't see. Your mind may still wander to regrets or what-ifs that try to steal your peace. But God's hand is over all of it. He's not only healing the pain, He's replacing it with purpose. The wounds are becoming wisdom. The heartbreak is becoming strength. You are being prepared for peace in ways that only the Spirit can orchestrate. And when peace arrives, it will not come in fragments. It will cover your life like sunlight pouring through an open window, reaching into all the spaces you thought would never be warm again. God is not done with you. Not even close. What you feel now is not the end. It is the soil. It's the ground from which new things will grow. Joy is returning. Purpose is being reborn. The dreams that once felt far away are starting to breathe again. And this time, they won't be dreams that fade. They'll be promises fulfilled, because they come from the heart of the one who never breaks his word. This message is not a random post. It's not a passing thought. It's a sacred reminder that God still has plans for you, plans that carry your name, shaped for your journey, timed perfectly for your season. You are not walking this road alone. The Spirit walks with you. Jesus walks beside you. Even when you feel lost, Heaven knows the way. You don't need all the answers. You don't need to know every step. Just trust that every time you rise again, even when it hurts, you are closer to the promise. Type 2020 if you are ready to receive the miracles God is preparing for your life. The struggles you faced were never your fault. A hidden brain frequency, once buried in secret research, has been silently holding back your wealth. Now, for the first time, it is available to you, and it only takes minutes to activate. Imagine the chains of debt breaking, the doors of opportunity opening, and your life flooding with prosperity. This chance may never return. Click the link in the video description and comments below to claim it now. You may not notice the change all at once. It may not come with fireworks or dramatic signs from the heavens. Instead, it will appear in simple ways that speak softly to your soul. It may arrive in the moment you feel a gentle peace that makes no sense to your circumstances, or the moment you find strength that you did not know you had. It may appear as understanding where there was once confusion, or hope where there was once only worry. These are not small things. They are miracles planted deep on the inside, miracles only God can grow. There was a time when you felt forgotten, as if your prayers were echoing into an empty space. Silence wrapped around you, and the waiting began to feel like a heavy winter without an end. But even in that season, God was at work. He was not ignoring you. He was building the right ground for blessings to take root. Some seeds cannot grow in hard soil. They need to rest in the darkness, protected, hidden, and nurtured before they can reach toward the sun. In the same way, your life has been resting, quietly prepared by the hands of the Creator. Think of how much you have survived already. Think of the wounds that should have crushed you, the losses that should have shattered your will, the disappointments that could have stolen your joy forever. But somehow, you are still here. Still breathing. Still hoping. Still searching for light. That is not by your strength alone. That is God. He has been your shelter. He has been your unseen friend in the night. He has been the hand that kept you from falling when you felt ready to give up. There are times when God is shaping a heart in silence, away from crowds, away from noise, away from distraction. Those moments feel lonely, yet they are deeply meaningful. That quiet is not emptiness. It is holy space. It is where God whispers truth into the deepest places of your being. It is where He teaches you to hear Him without all the distractions of the world. And it is where He begins to fill you with a faith that cannot be shaken by circumstances or opinions. The love of God is not loud or demanding. It is gentle, patient, and steady. It does not chase you with fear but draws you with kindness. It does not shame you for your mistakes but covers you in mercy. And when you stumble, He does not turn His face away. He kneels beside you, lifting you up with tender hands, reminding you that you are His, and you are not alone. Your story has value. It holds meaning in heaven. Every page of your life, even the painful ones, is part of something bigger. God does not throw away broken chapters. He redeems them. He rewrites them with His grace. What once looked like an ending will become a beginning in His hands. The parts of you that feel damaged or lost are the very places where His light will shine the brightest. He is not afraid of your brokenness. It is where His healing power settles most deeply. Type yes if you affirm that God's love is restoring every part of you. As you move forward, you may notice that the heaviness begins to lift, little by little. Not because your problems instantly disappear, but because your heart is changing. You are learning how to carry peace even when storms are nearby. You are learning how to trust even when the path is unclear. This is spiritual growth. It is quiet, deep, and lasting. It is the kind of change that remains, long after emotions fade. Your faith is becoming stronger not because life became easier, but because God has been strengthening you from the inside out. He has been teaching you to lean on Him, to place your hope in Him, to rest in His promises without needing proof in every moment. That is a sacred place to be. When you reach that place, fear loses its grip. Doubt softens. And love, the true love of God, becomes the center of everything. You are being guided now, not by chance, not by luck, but by divine care. There is an unseen hand directing your steps, steering you away from harm and toward peace. Even the closed doors, the missed chances, the things that did not work out, were part of that protection. God was keeping you from paths that would have caused deeper pain. One day, you will look back and thank Him for the no He gave you, because it made room for a much greater yes. Let your heart rest in this truth: you are deeply loved. Not for what you do, not for what you achieve, but for who you are. That love is constant, unshaken, and pure. It surrounds you even now. It fills the quiet room. It touches your thoughts. It calms your spirit. And it reminds you that your life is held in hands far greater than your fears. Not as another hopeful word among many, but as a divine confirmation, as a breath from God straight into your soul. There is a time for everything under heaven, and this is the time for you to see clearly what had been veiled before. Not because you begged for it, not because you earned it, but because you are loved that deeply. Type 666 if you trust Jesus is making a way even where you see none. All this time, God has been weaving together a plan around your life. Not a plan that avoids pain, but one that transforms it. Not a path without trials, but a walk lined with His presence. You may not have seen the full picture, and some days you might have wondered if there was even a plan at all. And God wants you to know that what you are walking toward is not behind you, it's ahead, glowing with promise, healing, and restoration. A mysterious 9-word prayer once sealed inside a private government vault is now resurfacing, and people everywhere are seeing financial breakthroughs overnight. Experts say it triggers a long silent part of the human brain responsible for abundance and wealth attraction. It takes less than 30 seconds to repeat, yet it's turning struggle into prosperity. Thousands are reporting cleared loans, sudden cash inflows, and unexpected blessings. Click the link in the description and comments before this secret disappears again. You are being brought to a place of stillness, not to stop you, but to anchor you. So much of life has been a whirlwind. You've moved through seasons where everything felt rushed, urgent, and uncertain. Now, God is gently slowing the pace, asking you to take a deeper breath, to listen more closely, and to feel His nearness in the quiet. His presence isn't always found in the thunder or fire, it's in the whisper. And this whisper is speaking directly to the wounds you don't talk about, the fears you hide behind strength, and the hope you're afraid to hold on to again. In that stillness, God is showing you the truth: you were never forgotten. Your name has been written in His care. Your future has been shaped with love. Even when you couldn't see the path, He was lighting it beneath your feet. Even when you were weary, He was carrying you farther than you realized. Not a single moment of surrender went unnoticed. Not one act of kindness, one prayer through tears, one choice to believe even when you didn't feel it, none of it slipped past heaven. It's all counted. All of it is part of the harvest that's about to bloom. The doors that closed were not punishments. They were shields. The delays were not rejections. They were realignments. What you thought you lost was sometimes exactly what God removed to make room for better things. And though it hurt, though it broke something inside of you, God was right there, catching every piece. What comes next will not simply replace what was lost, it will redeem it. It will give meaning to the pain, purpose to the waiting, and joy that rises not just from circumstances, but from a peace that cannot be shaken. Type 1212 if you walk by faith even when you don't understand the season you're in. What God is preparing you for is not just a breakthrough in the physical. It's a deep shift in your spirit. He is drawing you nearer to Him, not just for blessings, but for relationship. Not just for healing, but for intimacy. Because the closer you walk with Him, the less the chaos around you matters. Your peace will no longer depend on outcomes. Your faith will no longer be based on what you see. It will be rooted in who He is, in what He's already done, and in the truth that His love for you is immovable. This season is not about proving your worth. You've already been declared worthy through Christ. It's not about striving. It's about surrender. It's about learning to rest in the arms that never let go. So many people live in constant exhaustion, trying to do more, be more, fix more. But God is calling you away from all that. He's asking you to simply be still, to be held, to be loved without condition. Because when you learn to rest in Him, you begin to heal. When you trust Him with the pieces, you begin to see the beauty in what's being rebuilt. Your journey may be different. Others may not understand your path. But that's okay. This isn't about being understood by the world. It's about being known by God. And He knows you better than anyone ever could. He knows your heart, your battles, your quiet prayers, your silent victories. And He's proud of you, not for pretending to be strong, but for continuing to move forward even when you feel weak. Heaven rejoices not in perfection, but in progress. In your yes when it's hard. In your faith when it's small. In your love when it costs you something. Those things matter. They move heaven. They open doors in the spiritual realm that no man can shut. And they remind you that even the smallest seed of faith can grow into something eternal when it's planted in the soil of grace. Let yourself be reminded, today, that you don't have to carry everything. You don't have to solve it all. You don't have to have the answers. You just have to keep your heart open. Keep leaning on the one who never fails. Keep returning to the truth that God is with you, for you, and ahead of you. There is healing in this moment. Quiet, steady, holy healing. For your mind, for your heart, for the places inside you that have stayed silent for too long. God is not rushing the process. He is walking with you through it, step by step. And every tear, every breath, every prayer is building something new in you. That is where you are right now, in a moment of sacred turning. What once was hidden is now being revealed. What once was delayed is now unfolding before your eyes. Not by accident. Not because of chance. But because this moment has always belonged to you. Type 1919 if you're ready to receive what has been divinely set aside just for your life. God has never looked away from you. Not once. Even when you felt invisible to the world, even when it felt like no one noticed the pain behind your smile or the weight behind your silence, God saw it all. He never needed you to explain your heartbreak. He felt it. He never waited for you to be perfect before He stepped closer. He walked with you through the darkest nights, holding pieces of your heart even when you couldn't hold yourself together. His love isn't a distant promise. It is a present, living comfort that reaches you right where you are. You may have questioned your worth. You may have wondered if your prayers even mattered. But look again, this message, these words, this moment, they are not here to fill space. They are here to remind you that you have never been forgotten. The Father's eyes have been on you since the beginning. His hands have shielded you from battles you didn't even know were forming. His Spirit has whispered to your soul through dreams, through quiet thoughts, through the gentle nudges that helped you keep going even when your strength was gone. Buried deep in forgotten archives, a 9-word phrase once hidden from the public is now transforming ordinary lives. Neuroscientists call it a wealth frequency activator, because it awakens a part of the brain that naturally draws prosperity. It takes just seconds to speak, but the change can last a lifetime. People are waking up debt-free and financially secure. The page could vanish at any moment. Click the link before it's gone for good. You were never created to carry life alone. Yet so often, you've taken on more than anyone should. You've been the strong one, the listener, the one who quietly picks up the pieces and keeps showing up. But God sees the toll it has taken. He knows how heavy your heart has become under the weight of pretending everything is fine. He knows that beneath your patience lives a soul crying out for rest, for hope, for a sign that all of this effort hasn't been in vain. That sign is here now. It isn't loud. It isn't flashy. But it is clear, God is not done. He is just getting started. Type 333 if you're laying your burdens down and trusting God to lift what you cannot carry alone. There's healing in your surrender. When you finally stop trying to hold it all together and instead open your hands, something shifts. The weight doesn't magically vanish, but it gets lifted in ways that only God can explain. You were never meant to be your own rescuer. You were never meant to heal yourself or fix everything around you. That's what grace is for. Grace steps in when your hands are tired, when your heart is overwhelmed, when your faith feels too small. Grace does what human effort cannot. It reaches down, wraps around your wounds, and whispers, "You don't have to do this alone." God is not surprised by your exhaustion. He isn't disappointed in your doubts. He doesn't turn away when you feel lost or weary. Instead, He steps closer. In fact, some of the most powerful encounters with God happen not when we're standing tall in faith, but when we're on our knees, unsure, afraid, and raw with emotion. That's when His presence becomes more than just a belief. It becomes real, near, and deeply comforting. His nearness is not something you have to earn. It's something He freely offers, especially when your soul is at its lowest. You've been asking for clarity. You've been praying for direction. And while the answers haven't always come the way you expected, God has been moving all along. His timing is never rushed, yet it is never late. He's not ignoring you. He's preparing something that doesn't just meet your needs, it lifts your spirit and restores your peace. Sometimes, the delay is not a punishment, but a blessing. It is God withholding what you thought you wanted in order to give you something far better than you knew to ask for. And now, you are stepping into a season where what has been blocked will begin to flow. What has been closed will begin to open. Not because of striving, not because of perfection, but because you dared to keep believing. Because even when everything told you to stop hoping, something in your spirit held on. That faith, even if it was just a flicker, has moved heaven. And heaven is responding, not with noise, but with a gentle opening of doors that no man can shut. It's okay to still feel unsure. You don't need to have all the answers to keep walking. Just keep your eyes on the one who walks beside you. You'll find that as you take each step, peace follows. Strength follows. Hope begins to rise again. What felt impossible begins to feel possible, not because anything changed outside of you, but because something wholly awakened inside of you. That is what this message is doing. It is awakening what had grown quiet in your soul. This isn't the end of your story. It's a new chapter, one filled with light, love, and the unshakable promise of God's presence. He is not finished writing your journey. The pages ahead are filled with purpose, with beauty that comes from ashes, and with healing that runs deeper than the wounds. You are being renewed from within, and that renewal will soon begin to show in every part of your life. But heaven often moves differently. God chooses to speak to the soul, not the surface. And what you're feeling now, that pull, that peace, that warmth settling over your spirit, is the voice of God reminding you that something has shifted. What was once hidden is coming into view. What once felt unreachable is drawing close. And you are not here by accident. This message was held back until your heart was ready to truly receive the fullness of what's being revealed now. Type 777 if your spirit is ready to walk into what God has prepared for you. So many times, you've looked around and wondered when it would finally be your turn. You've celebrated others, cheered them on with love and honesty, while secretly carrying the ache of your own unanswered prayers. You didn't ask for more than you needed, just a chance, just a sign that what you were hoping for wasn't in vain. And now God, in His perfect grace, is letting you know that He was never far. The delays weren't rejections. They were gentle reroutes, detours filled with divine protection, keeping you from doors not meant for you and guiding you toward blessings that could never miss you. Every tear you cried in silence watered the ground for what's about to grow. Every night you laid in bed with heaviness pressing against your chest, whispering prayers into the dark, God heard it all. He didn't just hear, He leaned in close. He saw the weight of your heart, the longing in your voice, the courage it took just to keep believing when there was no visible sign. That kind of faith is precious. That kind of hope is sacred. And it never goes unnoticed in heaven. There's something only you can carry. Not because you are better than anyone else, but because you were created with a unique purpose that no one else can fulfill. And while others may not understand the depths of your journey, God does. He knows why your path looks different. He knows why the waiting felt longer, the lessons harder, the silence deeper. He was not punishing you, He was preparing you. For something only you can hold. Something that couldn't be rushed or forced, only nurtured in time, through trust and surrender. Type 444 if you believe God's timing is unfolding something greater than you imagined. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. The strength inside of you was not built overnight. It was shaped in valleys, carved through trials, and refined in quiet rooms where no one saw your battles but God. That strength is not weak because it trembled. It is not less because it came with tears. In fact, the kind of strength that comes from brokenness is often the purest. It teaches you to lean on God, to trust not in your own ability but in His endless mercy. And that is exactly what has carried you to this moment. There is healing in knowing that you don't have to pretend. God doesn't love some future, more polished version of you. He loves you now, right here, right in the middle of your uncertainty, right in the center of your questions. You don't need to hide your doubts or silence your pain to be embraced by Him. His love doesn't wait for perfection. It flows freely, constantly, and unconditionally. And it meets you not at your best, but at your most human. You may have walked through seasons where everything felt quiet, too quiet. Where you questioned if your prayers were reaching heaven at all. But silence is not absence. Sometimes, it is the stillness before the miracle. Sometimes, it is the quiet that comes right before God does something you didn't see coming. And when He moves, it's always with purpose. He restores what was lost. He lifts what was heavy. He makes new what you thought was too far gone. The doors that are beginning to open for you now aren't just opportunities, they are confirmations. They are signs that the waiting had meaning, that the process wasn't a punishment, but a preparation. What's ahead will fit you in a way that nothing before ever could. Because now, you're not walking in desperation, you're walking in alignment. You're not chasing blessings, you're receiving what's been placed in your path by the hand of God Himself. The peace coming to your life now isn't the kind that disappears when things go wrong. It's the kind that holds you steady in the middle of change. It's the kind that helps you breathe when everything around you feels uncertain. That peace is the fruit of a heart that has learned to rest in God, to trust in what cannot be seen, and to believe in promises not yet fulfilled. It's a peace rooted not in the absence of storms, but in the presence of the one who calms them. Let this part of the message settle deep within you. You are not behind. You haven't missed anything. What is for you cannot be stolen, delayed beyond purpose, or taken by anyone else. The blessings with your name on them are still coming. And they're not coming because you earned them, but because God loves you that much. He loves you enough to prepare the blessing and your heart at the same time. So when they meet, they stay. Let your heart breathe a little easier today. Let go of the weight you weren't meant to carry. Rest in the truth that you don't have to fight for what's already been written in heaven with your name on it. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to keep walking with the one who knows the way. Not just when life is easy, but even more so when it's not. That's the peace being poured into your life now. That's the stillness God is wrapping around your heart, because He knows what you've been carrying, and He wants you to know you don't have to carry it alone anymore. Type 111 if you feel the peace of God beginning to rise within your heart. You've walked through long valleys. You've stood at the edge of promises that felt like they would never come. You've been faithful when it was lonely, hopeful when the answers didn't come, and strong when no one saw how tired you really were. But none of it has been in vain. Every silent sacrifice, every prayer spoken in private, every time you held your tongue, gave grace, or chose to love when it hurt, you were building something eternal. You may not have seen the harvest then, but heaven did. And now the season is shifting. What was once hidden beneath the soil of silence is breaking through in full bloom. You have no idea how many moments God protected you in ways you never even noticed. The wrong turn that didn't happen. The conversation that didn't go the way you planned. The delay that frustrated you but ended up saving your heart. All those things weren't coincidences. They were the careful work of a loving Father, shielding you from what would have broken you and guiding you toward what would restore you. It didn't always feel like protection. Sometimes it felt like pain. But now you're beginning to see it for what it really was, love, in its purest form. And that love, the kind that guards you even when you don't understand, is what's lifting you now. God isn't asking you to have all the answers. He's simply asking you to trust that He does. Amen.